Right. Graph of y equals the square root of x. Okay, since all we're doing is taking the square root, what that graph looks like is 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 1.4, 3, 1.7, 4, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. Okay? This is the general square root function. That's what that looks like. Okay, the next thing we're going to do to this is we are going to add or subtract a number outside the radical. Okay? So, we're going to look at the square root of x plus 2. This is an easy one because we're still going to take the square root of all these, which would be this, but we're going to add 2 to the result. So we still, the domain is 0 because x is greater than or equal to 0, right? You set the inside greater than or equal to 0. So we have 0, 1, oh. I skipped 1, 1 up there, but that's all right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. So if we add 2 to all those square roots, we have 0, 2, 1, 3, 2 and 3.4, 3 and 3.7, 4, 4, and 9, 5. Okay. The square root of this number, which is this, plus 2. Yes.
Do you have to wait, like, because you do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. These that have to be 9?
No.
Or just you can do 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond this, but with these, you're not going to do a table. We're doing the table to illustrate. Okay? So the table is not the important part in this piece. What is important is if I graph these points, okay, I took the square root of 0, which is 0, I added 2, I got 2. Okay? So this is just these increased by 2. But if I graph them, I'm going to do them in the same spot. So this is the graph of the square root of x. Okay? If I graph this, I have 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3.4, 3, 3.7, 4, 4, 9, 5, which is that. Now compare the graphs. What just happened to my original graph that gives me the graph in orange? It moved up 2. Remember that kind of happened with the quadratics? If I did x squared plus 2, I got the parabola up 2, right? So, if I add or subtract a number outside the radical, I get a vertical shift. Okay? Everything goes up. The most critical piece is my starting point goes up, and I can sketch from there. Okay? Okay. If I add or subtract a number inside my graph, or inside my radical, for instance, the square root of x minus 3 inside. Now there is more than just x inside. So I have to consider my domain. X minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. Add 3, so x should start at positive 3, not 0. Okay, so I'm going to start at 3 and go up 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to save you the time with the calculations, but 3 minus 3 is 0, square root of 0 is 0. 4 minus 3 is 1, square root of 1 is 1. And we get 1.4 and 1.7 for the others. If we graph this, we're over 3, up 0, over 4, up 1, over 5, up 1 and 1.4, over 6, up 1.7. So if I connect those, now go back to my original graph. What happened to get me here? Look at my starting point. I went over 3. So anything inside is a horizontal shift, okay? But it is not. Notice this was minus 3, and I went to the right. Has to do with my domain, okay? So this, you're going to add in, it is an opposite horizontal shift. If it's negative 3 inside, it's going to go to the right. If it's positive 3 inside, it's going to go to the left, okay? So I'm going to show you just how quick this is going to make your graphs, because you're going to be graphing using the translation, okay? Graph using a translation of y equals the square root of x. So the first one we're going to look at is that. And for me, usually the arrows are pretty helpful. So when I look at this, is that going to shift up, down, right, or left? It's outside, which is vertical. So it's going to go down. Down 3. Outside is up and down. So when I do that, here's what you need to graph. Pay close attention if you want to get full credit on these. I know this is going to go down 3 from the origin. So I go down 3 and put a point. My next one is always going to be up 1 and over 1 for the ones you're going to be graphing. Because I'll get 1 inside the radical. Mm-hmm. So that will be up 1 and over 1, and the rest is going to be kind of that curve, okay? So these are going to be more sketches. You're not going to do a table for these. Inside is right and left, but it's the opposite of what you're going to think. Okay, so let's look at this one. So that's inside, right? It's going to go left. So that's going to go left 5. So from the origin, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my starting point. You're still going to go up 1 and over 1 here. Okay, and then draw in your curve. Okay, don't hang up on me yet. We have one more. Okay, what happens if you have both? This one is going to go left 2 and up 3. So you're going to start at your origin. You're going to go left 2, up 3. That's your starting point. You're still up 1 and over 1 for these as long as there's nothing in front of that x, which there won't be. And then your curve comes in there. Okay? Yes, your homework is 17 to 29. You don't require tables on these. You're using the translations to graph.